ISD 701 school board meeting to order. It's December 6, 2023, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'd like to welcome everybody here. With that, we'll move to item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you wish. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 3, performance. Rick,
Yes, we've got Mr. Sikora and the Northern Lights Choir here today. They're going to do a little holiday performance for us to start the meeting.
You're going to stand right against the wall.
Oh, it's nice.
I'm not from this group. I don't like any of these things. No, that's fine. Girls, stand in front of the guys. Before we start, I'd just like to draw attention to our new choir robes that we've had all the money donated from parents and businesses. So we raised $19,000 for the new robes that should be here in maybe a month or two. But this is what they'll look like, except for they'll have an H, like the Hibbing H in the center. And all the money, again, was donated from area businesses and parents and throughout the last year, so no cost to the school. And they're replacing our robes that are 60 years old. So these kids will wear these new robes in March, and I think they're really slick looking. Yeah. They're machine washable, they're lighter. And
I like the color. It's like between the old Royal and the new Navy.
Yeah, we had some different samples, and this is the one that was overwhelmingly the choice for the kids and myself and the parents. So that's what we should have here in a couple months. They're not wearing their stuff right now because we've got kids coming from basketball practice, kids coming from work, boys basketball practice, so they've made this work today. You're our first caroling gig of the year. So you're our child. So we'll start with a traditional English carol called Here We Come a Caroling.
We're honored by that.
Yeah, we are.
Here we come a caroling among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you glad Christmas too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. We are not daily beggars that beg from door to door, but we are neighbors' children whom you have seen before. Love and joy come to you, and to you glad Christmas too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. God bless the master of this house, likewise the mistress too. And all the little children that round the table go. Love and joy come to you, and to you glad Christmas too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. Good job.
All right, have them introduce themselves, since you might recognize a name from the paper or in a program at an athletic event, or maybe something related here at the school. So, Mr. Marchetti, why don't you take it away?
Hi, my name's Joey Marchetti.
10th grader?
Yeah, I'm from 10th. I'm a sophomore. Anything else I gotta say?
No, you're good.
I'm Christian Sturzinger, I'm a senior.
Ethan Escalay, senior. I'm Justin Walker, I'm a senior. I'm Edric Cardona, and I'm a senior.
Vinny Marchetti, again a senior.
Christian Karakash, you all know me, I'm a senior.
Go ahead, Maggie.
I'm Maggie Chibberth, I'm also a senior.
I'm Tamara Gosser, I'm a senior.
I'm Ava Price, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Monica Givry, and I am also a senior.
I'm Ariana Ellis, and I'm a junior.
I'm Maya Petrowski, and I'm a junior.
So these kids audition based out of concert choir, but they have to do the audition in class in front of all the other kids. And then the other kids can kind of see how the process is. And one year they said, well, you just pick who your favorites are. And I'm like, okay, we'll do this in front of everybody else then. So these kids were selected. They're part of 16 kids. And they'll do the extra performances around the town, extra contests for the State High School League. So this is our first gig. We got a couple more scheduled here. We're gonna put a Facebook post out too and invite other businesses to invite these kids over the next couple weeks. So we'll go to Deck the Hall. We'll just do 2 verses, okay? Deck the Hall.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la.
Good. And then joy to the world. Good. Joy to get your joy to verses and go.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ. While fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy.
Very nice.
We have a secular song, a sacred song. Now we'll do a little kid song. We'll end with Jolly Old St. Nicholas with some actions. And we have our concert coming up on the 18th at 7:30 p.m. And we invite all of you to come, as well as any community members. And I'd also like to just recognize a few of the kids in here who were part of the cast of Beauty and the Beast. That was really super successful this fall. So Christian, as you know, was the Beast. Vinny was Gaston. And Aniko played the part of Belle. So I think we haven't seen crowds like that in a musical for a long, long time. So kudos to those kids, especially for Vinny and Christian, who've never been in a musical or probably never. And they stepped up to do that. So good job, kids. All right, we'll end with Jolly Old St. Nicholas. And they have some awesome actions they want to do.
Oh boy.
Jolly
Jolly old St. Nicholas, lean your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm going to say. Christmas Eve is coming soon, now you dear old man. Whisper what you'll bring to me, tell me if you can. When the clock is striking 12, when I'm fast asleep, down the chimney broad and black, with your back you'll creep. All the stockings you will find hanging in a row. Mine will be the shortest one, you'll be sure to know. Johnny wants a pair of skates, Susie wants a dolly, Nellie wants a storybook, she thinks dolls are folly. As for me, my little brain isn't very bright. Choose for me, dear Santa Claus, what you think is right. Merry Christmas!
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Excellent.
All right, kids. Good job.
You're welcome to stay if you wish.
So good. Thank you.
That was very nice. Thanks again to everybody. Item 4, motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Moved by Director Polter, supported by Director McLaughlin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. With that, we'll move to item 5, motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Moved by Director Polter, supported by Director McLaughlin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried. Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 6, public comment, Rick.
And we see none, Mr. Chair.
With that, we'll move to item 7, administrative reports. Anything from the directors?
I'm just going to say that there was a World's Best Workforce meeting yesterday that was absolutely amazing, and I'm not going to say too much because Mrs. McDonald's here, but kudos to all that attended, and especially the special ed staff that went above and beyond, so.
Very good, thank you.
Just want to give kudos to Hibbing Hockey Community, the school's hockey community program, for the beautiful tribute to Adam Johnson's number retirement last night, and everything before that too. So I was proud of our schools and our hockey program for that.
Thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll go to our student director. Kirsten, Abby, nothing? With that, we'll move to administrators and staff. Rick?
So, Mr. Bestel, you're going first?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. We have Mr.
Gary's
Bestel
gonna take a
first.
lot longer, so.
From the Green Haven, Mr.
From the
Bestel.
Green Haven, yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know kind of how the transition went. When I decided to do this, it was a tough decision. I had 13 years at Lincoln and was extremely comfortable, and almost too comfortable. And I think that's why I kind of decided to make this move. I always tell my teachers that, don't get stale. Make sure you challenge yourself. Make sure that if you want to change grade levels or curriculums or schools, do that, because it does keep you fresh, and I thought I needed to take that advice. I will say, obviously Carrie had things running very well there, so it's been a nice, easy step in, and the teachers have been more than gracious on helping me out. I did have to get rid of a ton of pink stuff that was in my office. It is now blue instead of pink, and that was interesting. But I will say, I've been a high school principal. I've been obviously Lincoln 3 through 6, and now down to K2. And I do truly believe, with all that experience, this is my most important job. Those kids are extremely moldable, let's put it that way. And it is very interesting going from the positions I've been in prior to this position, and literally on the floor with kindergartners, trying to get them to understand why they can't take somebody else's toys. It's a different ballgame, but it is exceedingly valuable. And I think, like I said, COVID really got me to believe how important those grade levels are down there and what they do. And the old saying, and I think it was a book actually written, everything I needed to learn, I learned in kindergarten. It's true, very true. So, like I said, I appreciate you allowing me to make that move. It's been very good, and I'm looking really forward to kind of where we see things go the next few years. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. And up we have Mrs. McDonald, our new Director of Teaching and Learning, to talk about the World's Best Workforce.
So I actually was going to give a update quickly first, and then I don't know, I think it's later in the agenda, or do you want me to present the report as well? No,
I jumped ahead.
combine them. Okay. So just to start, just a little update with my position. I kind of look at my position as having 4 pillars: curriculum, professional development, the Career Academy, and then what's called MTSS, or multi-tiered systems of supports. You're going to hear a lot more about that, I think, this year as we're doing an audit. And I just kind of want to update you a little bit on each of those pillars along with Chisholm. So Career Academy, it was a learning curve. I have never been to a manufacturing site in my life, so I have learned a lot in 3 short months. I have regular meetings with we have 5 staff members at the high school that are academy leads. I have regular meetings with them to make sure that we're working together and I'm supporting them in what they need to help build their academy. We currently have 43 work-based learning students. And I think it's really important to understand that we have to try to kind of change what high school looks like for kids in order to keep them interested. There's so many options out there for them. And, you know, if kids want to be able to work and earn credit for that, I think that that's a valuable experience for them. And, you know, it's been very exciting for me to be a part of that. Today, Carrie Fox was working on typing up the evaluation letters that will go out to all the 43 employers. And we'll look forward to receiving those back and then working through those with students on maybe some other areas for improvement. We also are working under a grant called the Youth Skills Training Grant, and so I had to do some reporting for the first quarter, and luckily I'm right next door to Alex now, so he can't escape me. He may put a lock on the door though. In September, we sent students to a forestry field trip. In October, we had 3 field trips. We sent kids to the manufacturing field trip, which I took a bus and Ms. Sparks took a bus, and that was, like I said, we went to several different locations in town, Twistrel in Chisholm, and it was really, really interesting. And I think all of these things have helped me understand the importance of the Career Academy and how much I want to see it grow and how much it's going to encompass the entire high school. I've also been helping with high school registration because it's very evident that the courses that we offer are directly related to the academies, and if we want to grow academies, we have to offer certain courses. So Mr. Fleming and I are working on offering an intro to healthcare. We need to get more kids interested in the healthcare, and right now, I think we need to start with that basis of what does healthcare look like? What are all the different options out there? Right now, I'm hearing from Fairview that you can get a $25,000 signing bonus if you're going to school to be a ultrasound tech. And our kids need to hear about that. Like, you could go into a program and get a $25,000 signing bonus right out of high school. That's pretty exciting. So along with that, curriculum, we had a regional curriculum meeting last Friday, so I'm working with Chisholm, Virginia, the county schools. We're kind of all teaming up to work on what we can do together. We are going to kick off a math curriculum purchase this year for K-5. Our textbooks are from 2010, and so we need to update. And I'm thankful that Alex and Rick didn't tell me no. And then also working on the READ Act, which is very, very intensive. Professional development, we have some teachers that attended a workshop on assessment. I think it's something that we need to start looking into, what we grade and why we grade and how valuable those assessments are. Gone are the days that you just grade a math paper with 30 questions on it. These need to be meaningful assessments for these students so that we can make sure that they're leaving with an understanding of the topic or standard that we're covering. We're working on this huge audit. Nathan and I are working on that together. I'm really excited about that. December, not next week, but the week after, I'm going to be working with Kate Biesman on offering a training for our special ed teachers at the high school on how to progress monitor in our new system called FastBridge Assessment. I think that'll be great. In Chisholm, I've been working on the career pathways. I'm working on their registration process as well, and then also going to be writing the YST or Youth Skills Training Grant for them as well, and that's been an exciting experience. I had not been to, it was Chisholm Junior High back in the day, since probably 1994, aside from the gym. In the gym a few too many times. So that's my update on my position. And now I'll just present the World's Best Workforce Report, and we would look for approval later on in the agenda of the report. It is a state requirement that we do a public meeting and present this report, and that the board signs off on it, and then I submit it to the state.
Karen,
yes?
Can I ask a question about registration? You said you're helping Chisholm and Hibbing register for career academies.
Well, I'm actually helping their high schools with the registration process overall.
Okay, so is there, I know we had talked about maybe Chisholm students being interested in some of the academy courses that we offer here and vice versa. Are we at that point or not yet?
No,
Okay.
no. I think right now, all we're doing is getting their registration manuals together and the process of how they'll register.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's a conversation to be had maybe in February or March if there are things that we want to look at, kind of maybe after the master schedules are built and we can say, oh, Hibbing wasn't able to offer this class because we didn't have enough students sign up. Then we kind of start to look at which courses we didn't offer, Chisholm didn't offer, or did offer, and then try to go about it that way.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question too about what you've talked about, or do you want to take later? Do you want to take the questions later?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. The READ Act, I've been hearing a lot about in Minnesota. Have we already started doing it? Okay, that's what I thought, because they were talking on the radio that some schools, it's totally new, but they said some schools have been doing it for like 3 years or something.
So
And I thought we had.
We have, I would say we have dipped our toes in, and I feel like we have a good understanding of the philosophies and the practices that the READ Act is requiring districts to implement.
Okay.
We have a group of us that piloted 144-hour training on the science of reading,
Yeah.
which is what by 2026, fall of 2026, I think we will have to have all pre-K 3 staff trained.
Okay.
And there's 3 training options out there. We're waiting for the state to provide what they're going to look like so you can register for them. And I don't know that we'll go with the 144-hour one. There is a 60-hour one.
Okay.
But the state hasn't worked out, what that looks like. What is the district supposed to do to
Okay.
allow these teachers to do the training? Are we going to, have to pull teachers? I mean, we can't have all those teachers doing the training, and 60 hours is a lot. So
That's a lot, yeah.
a lot of moving parts the state hasn't figured out yet.
Okay.
But I really think that we're lucky that we have had this literacy team that was developed last year, and we had a bunch of us that went to a literacy cohort.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are people in each building that understand the READ Act and understand
Okay.
the theory behind it.
Right. Are we still moving kids between classrooms to have a higher reading group and a lower, so we're still doing, that's still working really
Yes.
well?
And actually, I think they expanded that to the Lincoln this year, which is great.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay. And then, it's, the READ Act is phonics. I mean, it's
Phonics
basically
based.
what we've been doing.
Well,
right? Well, not totally though, yeah.
maybe at another board meeting, I'll kind of just show you the differences between what the philosophy, trying to think of what the name is. Science of reading versus the whole, what is it called?
Whole word.
Yeah,
Whole language.
whole language approach. And so districts switched from phonics to the whole language, and now we're switching back to phonics.
That's what that's
Yes.
what I was thinking. And less emphasis on sight words, they said?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically what it means is that no longer do we expect kids to be able to guess what a word is
Yeah.
by looking at the pictures and context clues.
Yep.
Now we want to teach kids how to phonetically sound out the sounds in a word
Mhm.
so that they can read
Yeah.
instead of just trying to guess.
Instead of guessing,
Yes.
yeah. All right, and then one other thing, like you said, we have 43 employers in the Career Academy in the area.
43 students.
Oh,
yes.
okay, I thought you said employers. So are the students actually are they getting released from high school
Mhm.
part of the day to go to their company, so-called?
Yes, so some students are going during that, so basically if you have a work-based learning hour during the day, you are required to work 5 hours during that week. Those 5 hours don't have to be during the school day. They can be in
okay.
the evenings,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like they get that hour and they're committed to working 5 hours.
Oh, okay, could
Yes.
be during the school day?
Yes, so, and several of ours are working on site. I mean, lots of ours are working before school.
Are working what?
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
actually have work-based learning first and second hour, so
Okay.
I go to work until 9:15, and then I have peer mentoring third hour,
Yeah.
so I'm not here until fourth hour.
Oh,
And Addie, where do you work?
I work at Key Care Cell.
oh,
So
that's awesome. And you get paid or no?
Yeah.
You do get paid?
I think all 43 of our students get paid.
Are getting paid for their
Yes.
work?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that works for her she can still do her grad standards, get everything she needs, even though the 2 hours are the work-based learning? Wow, that's great. Thank you.
I've got 2 questions too.
Yes.
So when you talked about the curriculum and getting the classes to fit that pathway, like how you mentioned the introduction to healthcare. So is this also include then, I think it was actually Mrs. Sparks who brought up, where we were missing that math, or is that how you're working in where these kids that are going in the engineering field or the healthcare field now will have all of those core classes, such as that math that we were missing for a while?
Yeah, I guess I'm
Do I have
not,
that correct? You don't understand what
I'm not sure about, I know, was she talking about some science courses?
Maybe it was
Physics
science.
courses.
Oh,
Physics.
science.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes.
It was science. Physics, maybe?
Yes.
So is that part of what you're also working
Yes.
on? Make sure there's no gaps there?
Exactly, and the hope is, so I feel like right now, we have a little bit of a lull and we need to get these kids excited about the academies again and interested and registered for them, and so we're kind of like starting at that point where those introductory classes are really important. But each year, those kids are gonna go through, and then eventually, I would love to see that we have enough students that wanna take physics that we can offer the physics class, right? But it's about kind of having them understand the why behind. Like, you're not just gonna get a kid to take physics for the fun of it.
Right. And that's
Well,
just
maybe
an
one,
example. But, so yeah, I'm hoping that there aren't any gaps later
Yes.
on the line, but I completely understand what you just said. And then my second question is I know recently I've talked to several staff members, and I don't know if you have a part in this or can add more, or if you can, but is it true that we are working on right now for 7th and 8th grade to be going to quarters rather than stay on a semester like we currently are?
I think that Renee and Chad are looking at kind of changing that 7th and 8th grade experience to more of a middle school model where they have, quarter classes and introductory into like 4 different areas. But I think I'm also looking at keeping certain ones semesterized. Like I think facts, shop, art, and health will stay a semester in the 7th and 8th grade. So yes,
So is this more to ask them when they're here a little bit? Okay.
Probably.
And I wasn't sure, so.
And I think it's really just step one. They
Yes.
just kind of started talking about it.
Yep.
She was kind of filling me in yesterday a little bit about it, but
Yes.
I think the other thing they're trying to do is trying to get some kids, or get 7th graders in particular, some experiences in shop in these other areas that they don't have now. Because is that correct? A 7th grader doesn't get
Right.
shop, right? You can't take shop in the school until 8th grade.
Right.
So I think they're trying to get some exposure to get some excitement then to feed Carrie's program and everything going forward, so. But I think it's still just pretty step one. I don't think they've got anything finalized yet.
Quarters would do that.
Right.
So I
Right.
like that idea.
Right.
I don't know how the teachers would like
Yeah, and
it.
I think you could ask, maybe Renee to present the concept of what that middle school thing will look like. I think it's like 3 different hours. There's a music hour, there's the elective hour, which is in 7th grade gonna be facts and health, and then in 8th grade it'll be shop and art. And then there's the quarter hour, which is 4 different topics. One of which is a reading class, which is super exciting because of this READ Act. Like, we don't have reading classes for our 7th and 8th grade students. And we have lots of kids that are coming in that are not proficient on their reading assessments. And so, we've got a lot of systems built K-6, but we really don't have systems at the 7 through 12 for those struggling readers. And this READ Act is saying you have to do something for all kids that are not meeting grade level. So we don't want kids to get to 10th grade and not be able to read their biology book. We need to make sure that we're focusing on that. So that's definitely one good thing at looking at the quarter piece, is that one of the quarters is reading.
And it would, not for everyone though, just for the kids that need it?
It would be for everyone.
Oh, for everyone,
Yes.
okay.
I think it'd be good once she has more information, if she
Yes.
can bring that to us and
Yes.
talk about it.
It would be.
I'll share that with her,
Yeah.
yep.
Thank you.
Okay, world's best workforce. I'm gonna try to fly through this because Mr. Pulcher doesn't like when I do long presentations. I believe a lot of this you've seen because I know Mr. Bestel was here and presented some assessment data like the first week of school. So I'm gonna kind of fly through some of this. If you want me to go back, let me know. Did you cover this yet? No. Okay, so there are several world's best workforce goals. So top of the page is going to have what the goal is. So what the first goal is all students are ready for school. And so our goal, and this is all a report on last school year, okay? This is last year. So the goal was 78% of students within the Ready, Set, Go program will be at age level by the end of the school year on the TS goal. That's an assessment that's given to our Ready, Set, Go kids. The results are there, and you can see we did really well on these results. But here's a shocker. The social emotional piece. We're struggling somewhat in the social emotional area. We all know that. That's why we're seeing the struggles that we have in kindergarten, those kinds of things. And for most of these kids, this is their first school experience, so that social emotional piece is really tough. The great thing about seeing this is Mandy coming in knows that that's something she wants to focus on in her building, is making sure that we're meeting those social emotional skills that we have to. So the other thing we have to report on World's Best Workforce, if we met the goal or not. So you can see, and this is basically the language I would use on the report. Goal status for this is we met some, because obviously we had multiple categories on here, multiple goals. What I tried to do was show what the action items we worked on last year to reach goals, okay? So at the ELC, they're using the classroom engagement model. And I guess I would recommend if there are things on here that you'd like more information on, it might be nice for you to just email the administrator at that building and say, you know, the next time you're at the board meeting, could you just talk a little bit more about the classroom engagement model? Unless you've already covered it.
No, it's not my next one.
There's just, Candy's got it. TS goal data, they look at their TS goal data, which is the assessment they use. Their PLCs are focused on that TS goal data, and then the data that they're looking at from that assessment drives what instructional practices they're using with their students to promote growth. They also have child study meetings and SPED referral meetings where they're looking at students that are struggling in one or more of these areas and trying to figure out what can I do to support this child? Does this child need to go to a SPED referral? These goals I know you've seen already because I think I spoke to them, Bob spoke to them. So these are just your K2 assessment goals for how we did in our STAR assessments. Remember, last year we did STAR, this year we're doing FastBridge. Okay? I'm going to kind of fly through this. We met some of these goals. There were 4 goals between the Washington, Greenhaven, and Lincoln. And we met some of them. We fell a little short on some, but I will say the good thing is the growth model we did really well on. And that is what we need teachers to focus on. Okay? We have to have them focus on growth. These are the action items that we have for K6. We did the STAR assessment 3 times a year. This year we will use the FastBridge assessment 3 times a year. We looked at that STAR data, so it's kind of the same model you saw for the ELC. And we looked at that STAR data, and that drove our instruction in the classroom. It also helped us make our referrals to the title and intervention programs. And I'm going to just put a plug in right here for those interventionists, that how important they are, and that we really need to keep those in our programming so that we can help those students that are struggling. And then special education referrals. Now for those students that went into title/intervention, we used FastBridge in the interventions, and we found that those interventions were so awesome, that's why we switched to FastBridge this year. Okay? Our PLCs, we looked at student data, and then the MCAs for grades 3 through 6 were really good. I just want to point that out.
We're really good.
Really good. Okay? There's out there.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one, so I want to explain this this is kind of the focus of what we had at our meeting yesterday that Kim spoke to. So one of the goals for World's Best Workforce is we have to pick a student group and take a look at the students in that group versus the students not in that group, and the discrepancy with their proficiency levels or how they do on the assessment. And we chose to look at special education, okay? How do our special education students perform on the assessment compared to our non-special education students? And so we had high goals. Our results fell a little short, but we're both above the state average at the Lincoln. And the nice thing about where we're at right now is we had a very meaningful meeting yesterday where we brainstormed, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do this year to make this better? And I'm going to talk a lot more about that at another meeting. But I think the main thing for you guys as a board to understand is that when we talk about our special education students, this is a district problem to solve. It is not a special education teacher problem. We have to all be in this as a team and make sure that we're supporting our special education students as much as possible.
So Carrie, why are there 2% like results 33.5 and 24.6?
Just so you could compare it to the state. So Lincoln versus state average. So the Lincoln
LES, okay,
yes.
So 33 at the Lincoln.
The state was 24.6. So that's just showing you were above the state average.
Oh,
Okay.
but we didn't hit our goal of 37.
Yes. Yes. All right. Again, these are the things that we've talked about that we had in place last year. We will continue these things, and then we've got some really good ideas for some other things that we can do to help with this area. So this is just kind of the interventions we have. We talk about a tiered level. Tier 1 is all students, all core instruction, what kids get in the general education classroom. Tier 2 is the interventions that we do in title and with the interventionists. And then Tier 3 is those kids that get special education services. This is the high school special education results. And you can see that high school reading beat the state average. Our high school math did not, but one caveat to the math that I would say is that the math test in 11th grade, a lot of our special ed students have not had Algebra 2. And there's a ton of Algebra 2 on that 11th grade test. And as a former math teacher, I'm just going to say it out loud, I don't believe all students need Algebra 2.
But that's the state telling
that's the
us.
state.
We have no choice.
Right.
So then are we going to get our special ed students to take Algebra 2 before
Well,
11th grade, the test in 11th grade?
I don't necessarily believe that's what's best for kids.
Well, I know, but, okay.
So sometimes.
But yet they need it
Well, they
to
need
get a
it.
better score on the 11th grade math,
Right.
right?
But
Okay.
we also have to think about what's best for kids and what level they're ready for.
Right, so basically we're saying, we're gonna say, okay, well, we're not gonna get a high test score or a higher percent because we don't believe that's the right thing to do.
I mean, a lot of our
I agree with that.
A lot of our special education students would probably take Algebra 2 in 12th grade
Yeah.
because they may have struggled or have started at a little bit lower level in 9th grade.
Yeah.
And so they're going to get the graduation requirement is that
Yeah.
you take an Algebra 2 course, but they're not going to have it by the time they're in 11th grade and
Yeah.
this test is given.
And that's why we didn't hit the,
That is definitely
that's
one
why
of
we're
one
under
of
the state.
Exactly. Just some things that happened at the high school in working last year on that goal. Then we have all students are college and career ready, which is focusing basically on our high school assessments. And you can see here the results for high school. This is for math. And again, I would have you focus on the fact that if you look at B, that's the growth. That's a data point that shows how much growth. It's called student growth percentile. So our goal was that we would have 50 student growth percentile. at the high school in math, we had 63.75. So think of it this way. The kids are starting here, and our teachers are working their butts off to get them here, okay? We didn't necessarily meet the proficiency goal that we had, or actually we did in this one, didn't we? 39.9, we did. But the growth is the focus. This is the reading. And again, the student growth percentile was huge. So I mean, I kudos to these teachers that the hard work that they're doing, because you can only do so much when the students are coming in at a level to get them by the end of the year. And these kids had tremendous growth. Just some of the things that at the high school that they included as their action items. And again, I copied this for you because if you want to refer back, I know I'm going fast, but all students graduate is the last goal for World's Best Workforce, and they're always reporting a year behind, okay? So we wrote our goal as graduation rate of 95% for 23. We actually should have wrote a goal for 22. So this year we'll be writing a goal for 23 because we'll get the results of 23. But we had 90% graduation in 2022, and the state was 83.6.
How is that one measured, graduation?
It's student, the percentage of students that graduate in 4 years. So in
So are you looking at all the names in 9th grade?
Yep.
Of the kids and seeing if they graduated?
Yes.
In 12th grade?
Yes.
Okay, and if they dropped out?
So
hurts.
there's a
us,
category that shows these are the numbers that dropped out, these are the ones that graduated, these are the ones that went elsewhere.
So it's these names we're starting with in 9th
Yeah.
grade? And if they move away, what happens that?
Then they're not counted against us. They left.
It's not a count,
Yeah.
don't count against it, okay.
Do you know offhand of the students that didn't graduate, how many of those students were on an IEP?
I do not.
Do you think that, does that even play a role? I guess I don't know.
I don't think so. I think when you look at graduation rate, you look at student engagement, and I think we want students to want to be here. What supports do we have in place for students that struggle? All of those kinds of things. I don't think it would be necessarily connected to the special ed students, but it might be interesting to look at students that are leaving or not graduating and kind of doing some sort of exit. But again, they're kids that are all over the place, especially regionally. They're here, they're there, they're back.
Yeah.
So, I think we should be proud of that 90% graduation rate.
So has that trended up or down, do you know, Carrie? The 90%?
Let me look at something really
I
quick.
feel like not too many years ago, it may have been in the 80s, but I'm not certain.
1 second, see if I can find that quick. I'm getting to be a master with the MDE report card. All right, how many students graduate? Okay, so here is your Hibbing High trend. 19, 20, 21, and 22.
So we're down from the past couple of years.
I would really be curious to see what we end up from last year.
What?
What we end up from last year. Because remember, we had COVID in there too.
Oh, yeah.
So, so we'll see what 2023 comes out. That would have been last year's graduating class. What were the percentage of students?
Oh, okay. Right, because the 90 is, you said, from 2022.
Right.
You just showed us, okay. So we don't have the 2023 yet?
No. It always comes out a year later.
Okay.
Okay. These are just some of the things that the high school reported on as to helping students graduate. The Check and Connect program, the school spirit things that have happened, the dances, the game nights, the open gym and pool, additions of clubs and activities, and then those credit recovery things. What are we doing for kids that are failing classes? What kind of credit recovery are we offering for them? And I think when you talk about this online option that Chad's been working on, I think that might help with our credit recovery as well. Because the kid's not gonna have to go to the night school building in the evenings to be able to get that credit recovery. They might be able to get it online. So, I had a whole, like, 10 more slides, but just give me the eagle eye. So I will report on our goals for 23-24 at another time. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good, Kurt.
I don't believe so, Mr. Chair.
Okay, with that, we'll go to item C, committee reports. Anything here? I'd like to make a comment that we got final report from our collaborative work from Tom Watson. That was emailed to everybody, so that's done. And I was at a delegate assembly meeting over the weekend, or Friday and Saturday with the MSBA, which all the states in Minnesota, or regions, school districts that submit resolutions that they want change in legislature for 2024. And there were 23 of them submitted this year. Rick has the outcome, not all the background on it, but tell it pass or fail. Most of them from the, I'd say 80% of the ones from MSBA, their opinions passed, probably 85%. But one thing I found interesting about that, we're talking about MCA scores. There's a resolution in there not to include in the findings that the people, when they opt out of it, it counts as a zero against the scores in their folder. They want that thrown out, just the people that take the test. So
And
that
it should be
passed.
thrown out.
Right,
Yeah.
and that passed, so we'll see how it goes from there.
Oh.
I'll keep you posted if I hear any more, but that's it for now. And then, I was gonna wait till last, but the Truth and Taxation meeting will be at 6 o'clock tonight in here. Correct. Okay, with that, we'll move to item 8. Sir Alex, Administrative Business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Item A is a motion to approve the dissolution of cooperative sponsorship of boys and girls wrestling between Hibbing Public Schools and Cherry Public Schools effective for the 2023-2024 school year.
Support.
Moved by Director Marty, supported by Director Nyberg. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B is a motion to approve the application for cooperative sponsorship of boys and girls wrestling between Hibbing Public Schools, Chisholm Public Schools, and Cherry Public Schools effective with the 2023-2024 school year.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Director McLaughlin, supported by Director Gabarty. Any discussion?
So, yes, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so I'm assuming that there are students from Chisholm interested in joining wrestling.
One, I believe.
And Cherry too?
And we already have a co-op with Cherry. There's a handful of students that wrestle with us from Cherry. So we have to, in order to have a new agreement that includes all 3 schools, we have to dissolve the agreement that just has the 2.
That had Cherry.
And then start over. And the other boards in the other districts are doing the same thing.
So we're now going into agreements with more than one high school?
Correct.
We're not doing separate?
Correct.
Okay. Just for ease of whatever?
Because it'll be one team, right?
Yes. Yep.
Chisholm, it'll be one team.
Well, I know it'll be one team, but before we would have had a separate with Cherry and separate with Chisholm agreement?
No, if we have a cooperative sponsorship, it can include 10 districts.
It depends
Just
on
in
if
one-
they opted in.
one- yep.
Before, we didn't get them any opting in, so
Yeah.
that was,
So we did have an agreement with Cherry. Chisholm was not a part of that.
Yeah.
Now Chisholm's coming in, they have students that are interested, and it doesn't change our class or
Oh,
change
okay,
our.
okay, click,
Yep.
and finally.
Okay.
that
Get
was
it?
easy. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Kim, did you have something?
No.
Oh,
Well, I know that we're short on wrestlers. I've heard.
Yeah.
We can't even fill all the weight classes.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate.
okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. We did item C. We need a motion to approve the Williams Best Workforce Report.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Director Nyberg, supported by Director Polter. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item D is a motion to set a date for a special meeting to approve the fiscal year 2023 audit financial report. I think Trina reached out to board members, and we're looking at December 21st at 9 o'clock in the morning. We can have a quorum for that meeting to go through the audit. And Sterling will be here to present.
So do you need a motion for December 21st at 9 a.m.?
Yes, please.
Can I have a motion to set the date for a special meeting to approve the fiscal year 2023 audit financial report to be December 21st at 9 a.m.?
Moved by Director McLaughlin, supported by Director Polter. Any further discussion?
9 a.m.?
9 a.m., correct. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 9. Rick, no discussion?
I don't have anything else, Mr. Chair.
With
John?
that, oh, go ahead.
One announcement that the 100th celebration of the high school, next meeting is December 12th at 5 p.m. in the high school library.
Thank you for keeping this apprised, and that's important. Move to item 10, Jeff.
Motion to adjourn.
Without objection, the meeting is adjourned. It's 4:50, what is it, 4:54. 4:53, we'll go with the camera. And thank everybody for coming. Meeting's adjourned.